Hello and welcome to Chill Game Build, the channel where you come to chill and where I play video games, build Lego and fix gadgets such as smartphones and games consoles. This is episode 2 of my Lego build and review series. In the last episode I built this set 42133, the telehandler, and in this episode I will be building set 30655, the forklift with pallet, which comes in this polybag. Before I begin, I will quickly explain how these episodes are broken down into 4 sections. Firstly, I will go over some details about the set, followed by a time-lapse of me putting it together. We will then see how the set has been reviewed online, and at the end of the video I will give my own opinion. So make yourself comfortable and enjoy the video. So I couldn't find any information about this set on lego.com, so instead I'm here on brickset.com. This set was released on the 1st of Jan 2023. It retails at £3.50 here in the UK. It contains 78 pieces, which works out at about 4.5 pence per piece. So my first impressions of the set are, it looks interesting. It's going to be small, as you'd expect being in a polybag. Got a few different colours going on. I like the look of the pallet, it looks quite clean and quite obvious what it's meant to be at a very small scale. I'll be interested to know how the lifting and lowering mechanism works. It looks really simple. You know, being such a small set, there's no, obviously it'd be a lot to ask to have the front wheels or even the back wheels steer. It looks well put together and it's really obvious what it's supposed to be. You can see a lot of axle pieces there, a lot of red axle pieces, which stands out. I like the red and black, but I'm not keen on the brown. What would you call them? Are they stopper axle pieces? So those are my first impressions. Let's build. Okay, and here we are with a review on brickset.com. This review was posted by Cap and Rex 101, and here's what they had to say. Technic polybags have proven appealing in the last couple of years, managing to include some clever functions between 30465, the helicopter, and 30433, Volvo wheel loader. The range presents another enjoyable vehicle this year, 30655 forklift with pallet. Whereas modern Technic models are generally shrouded in panels, these polybags emphasise function over appearance. The resulting resemblance to older Technic sets is quite charming. So a quick summary: 30655 forklift with pallet, 78 pieces, £3.50. Includes a brilliant function and looks splendid too. Positives are that it's neat, compact function. and the realistic shape. Yeah, does look good. Do like the shape of it. The negatives being some odd colours, which I must agree. Yeah, you got reds, greys, browns, tans. Forklift trucks have been represented multiple times in the Technic theme, including relatively small scales in 8441. Now that's an old set, 2003. Forklift truck, and 8290 mini forklift truck. That one in 2008. The proportions of this design closely resemble lightweight forklifts, featuring small wheels rather than the bulkier vehicles which have inspired the models from 2003 to 2005. Okay, yeah, makes sense. So, looking at those two, yeah, definitely big, bulky wheels, but this is a little more realistic in a sense. Furthermore, this model is more functional than its predecessors, dispensing with a rubber band to raise and lower the forks. Instead, the forks are controlled by turning the trans-orange light on top of the roof of the cab. The titular pallet is built using standard bricks rather than Technic pieces, but serves its purpose for play. A simple worm gear underneath the trans-orange 1x1 cone raises and lowers a lift arm inside the cab, which is then connected to the carriage and the forks. The mechanism is certainly nothing new, but functions smoothly and allows the forks to stop in any position. However, perhaps more remarkable is that the lift arm is ideally positioned to raise a carriage to the top of the mast and no further without needing a stopper on top. I like the visibility of the function, especially because this does not interfere with the shape of the forklift truck. The red bodywork at the back looks good, incorporating a 3x1x2 shell that has only appeared 3 times before. In red. There are some unsightly colours between the blue Technic pins and the reddish brown axles, but I think these are excusable given the scale. Overall, Forklift with Pallet maintains a high standard of these Technic polybags. The function is inevitably rather basic, but occupies minimal space and works nicely, greatly improving upon the aforementioned rubber bands used on previous forklift trucks of comparable scale. The ability to stop the forks anywhere on the mast is satisfying in particular. There are some awkward colours, but the shape of the forklift is immediately identifiable, and this model prioritises function where it excels. The polybag is arriving in Tesco in the UK, and I would certainly recommend it, costing £3.50. Hopefully this little set becomes similarly available around the world. Cool, 84 likes. We've got 20 comments here. My dad used to work at the company that trained forklift operators, so when I saw this polybag in the store for just €3, it was an instant buy for me. Twice of course, as I had to get my dad one too. It was a fun build and the lift works great. My only remark is that the pallet has a very odd shape, but I don't care. I had a great time building and playing, and my dad loved it too. Yeah, I must agree. The pallet is like 1/3 of a realistic pallet maybe. You know, you could imagine 2 more long pieces of wood going horizontally, but then it would be too big for the forklift. Way too big. The choice of spare part is a particular grey pin. Isn't this all you could ask for from a polybag? For what it is, this is about as perfect as it could be. I'm not even that bothered by the weird colours, though it helps that the red axles match nicely with the main colours. Technic in its purest form. Whenever I see this in store, I'll surely buy it. That person's very impressed by this Wizard of Oz. I always enjoy seeing that worm gear show up. Reminds me of a Dacta set my family had when I was a kid. 1034. Oh, okay. Which I believe was the first time I encountered the element. That was left by the other Mike in the US. Cool, so looks like most people are fond of this set. So yeah, on to my review. So here we have the forklift truck with pallet. This is my review and my opinions. We'll start off with the pros. The first one being the price. I would say £3.50 for a model this size. Really happy with it. So definitely happy with the price. Secondly, the accuracy to the source material, considering its size. You can clearly tell what it's supposed to be. The silhouette from most angles. Quite clear and obvious what this is, a little forklift truck. Especially the truck itself. I'll move on to the pallet later. And lastly, the fully functioning forks. Really fun to go about and lift up the pallet, raise it up, move it to a higher surface. It just works pretty flawlessly. Yeah, quite easy just to get under there. As long as you've got a flat surface, it's straight under the pallet and easy enough to raise and lower. Onto the cons for this set. First one, I would say the load capacity. So we've got the pallet, which is fairly big, but in terms of loading it up, I've got 2 1x4s and 4 1x2s on here, and it can manage just about. So as long as you keep weight on the back, holding it down while moving it up and down, it will just about handle that weight, as long as you've got it mounted close to the back. As you can see there, it's just about holding on. So if we add another 1x2, clearly you can see there it's reached its limit with that amount of pieces including the pallet. The second con being the pallet itself. I would have preferred it to be, sort of this size, but you can understand the reasoning behind it, why the designers couldn't make it any smaller really, because it would not be stable. It just needs that 2x3 in the middle to give it that stability. But I find that in the pictures, they've taken it at an angle as such that you can't really tell how wide it is until you see it from in front, and then you realise, okay, yeah, that pallet is way too big compared to the forklift. So I'm not keen on that. And finally, as mentioned in the reviews online, the blues and browns of the Technic pieces that you can see there just loses that sort of nice aesthetic of the design. I suppose unless Lego release different colours of these pieces, then you kind of stuck with what you get. I suppose it does help for the building experience and being able to follow which pieces are which and find the pieces when you're building it. But yeah, definitely for the aesthetic of the model, doesn't look too great. For the playability, I would give this a 4 out of 5. Fun to play with. I think kids would enjoy playing with this, using the forks to lift and lower little pieces of load. Build experience, I'd give it only a 2 out of 5. Nothing special at all really. Quite straightforward. Obviously it's only a little set, but nothing too interesting going on. It's nice, the mechanism of the lifting and lowering. Again, fairly straightforward really. And other than that, you've got the wheels. Nothing major going on. You sort of build half and then stick the other halves on. Yeah, not too much to say about the build experience. The value, definitely give that a 5 out of 5. £3.50. Excellent. I mean, you got a lot of fun in a low price there. So overall, this set gets a 3.6 out of 5 from me. I would recommend it if you like Technic vehicles. It's a good one to add to any collection, and it's also inexpensive and it will be fun for kids, I can imagine, so definitely worthwhile picking up for collectors and kids. So that's my opinion. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and stick around for the next one. Thanks for watching. Over and out. Peace.